Civilians are being warned not to direct traffic during power cuts. And while we're all familiar with the disruption and the pain of delays at traffic lights, it's only allowed when traffic officers are doing it. So what does it mean for you? Johannesburg Metro Police spokesperson Xolani Fihla joins us now. Xolani, good evening and welcome. Let's clarify, is it illegal for a civilian to direct traffic?
Good evening to you, and let me also greet to the viewers. Yes, indeed, it is illegal for any untrained or unauthorized person to be controlling and directing traffic. The challenge with that is having an unauthorized person doing that is that if an accident can happen within that intersection, then unfortunately the city won't be liable for that accident, and it will be a problem for the motorist.
So you said there only if you are trained. Then I imagine, the charitable provision of traffic assistance, like the insurance companies, they are all within the precepts of the law.
Yes, yes, indeed. We know that in the city of Johannesburg, we do have a working agreement or a contract with Traffic Free Flow, which is sponsored by insurance. So they are great assistance when it comes to controlling and diverting traffic, controlling traffic when it comes to there's congestion on the roads and help to alleviate that.
All right, so if JMPD or other traffic authorities from other provinces see civilians directing traffic, can you arrest them?
The thing is, we can't necessarily arrest them, so we have received numerous complaints. I know the biggest hotspots within the city of Johannesburg, we know that it's prevalent within most parts, but where we've received the most complaints is places like Fourways and in Bryanston. So when we do receive those complaints, we do remove those people. And if there is congestion at those intersections, then officers are there to alleviate that.
All right. So, I must admit, we're often relieved when someone is taking charge and, making things move, when we're stuck. And often there aren't enough, JMPD or other traffic enforcement officers available to be there to do it. How then do, you deal with the situation where, and if you heard the announcement this week from Eskom, we're going to be facing a lot more rolling blackouts during the course of the week, so the traffic lights are not going to work. Is there a way that people can render a public service? Is there training that is available to members of the public so that they can, step up if there's a need?
At the present moment, the only working agreement that the city has is with our insurance, and we do discourage members of public in actually giving these unauthorized people money or for incentive in controlling traffic. What we do know that in most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, these people do tamper with traffic lights or traffic light controller boxes with that thought of that if they do that, then they'll get more money. And the challenge on our side as law enforcement is that officers have other responsibilities within the city of Johannesburg, and that's crime prevention, bylaws enforcement. We have to attend to protests, life-threatening and non-life-threatening incidents within the city. So our biggest assistance does come from trained officials, which are from Traffic Free Flow, sponsored by our insurance.
Shouldn't there also be some out-of-the-box thinking here on the part of traffic enforcement? As you say, you've got real work to do, which is the way I'm interpreting what you said, enforcement of bylaws and the like. The reality is that power outages are here to stay in South Africa. The prognosis is we're going to be faced with even more of these power outage events. What are, some of the innovative ways that you are employing to make sure that we aren't all feeling the pain at the robots, especially, in a context where not just anyone is allowed to direct traffic?
Yes, I can say currently on our side as JMPD, the current acting chief of police, Xolani Fihla, did issue a directive earlier this year that officers have to be on point, controlling traffic during the peak hour periods.
But they are not, and I'm so sorry to interject, and I am, yes. But they simply are not. And you would also agree that you don't have the personnel to deploy, right across the city at every single, robot. So there is a human resource challenge there.
Yeah, yes, it is. But that's why we have to prioritize. when it's peak hour periods, that's when we do see most congestion. In the morning between 6 and 9, and in the afternoon between 3 and 6, and also during load shedding. So our commanders and our officers have been briefed that when it does happen, the slightest challenge is that we need to familiarize ourselves with the schedule of load shedding, but it has been put forward to our teams that when it does happen that there is load shedding, then officers are on point to alleviate that congestion.
All right, so just give us a quick snapshot. This is my last question, Xolani. We're facing a week where, according to Eskom, the likelihood of stage 6 is there. That means obviously a lot more robots are going to be, or traffic lights are going to be out for different periods of time throughout the day. So what happens at Opcom, or, at the operations center in terms of how you decide where to send people?
Usually load shedding has been around for a couple of years now, and with traffic dynamics within the city, we do know the hotspots in the various regions where there is congestion, like in Fourways. We know that Willem Nicole Drive, Witkoppen, in Soweto, it's Chris Honey Road. So we have prioritized those intersections, but it's also extremely important that motorists do adhere to all the rules of the road. We know that when we do go for our driving tests, that with the stipulates that when traffic lights are not working, that we do treat those intersections as compulsory stops, and especially when there aren't any trained officials at those intersections. But it's also important for members of public to report issues pertaining to traffic lights which aren't working, and in areas where traffic is gridlocked, then officers will definitely be deployed in those areas. So I can give them the City of Johannesburg's traffic hotline, which is 0800 872 3342. That's 0872-3342, or they can also call the City of Johannesburg's emergency number, which is 011-375-5911. That's 011-375-5911, and officers will definitely be deployed in those areas.
All right, thank you very much. Hopefully, that's helpful to people in traffic who might notice some congestion somewhere and might require some assistance. We'll try and put up those numbers for you again. Xolani Fihla speaks for the Johannesburg Metro Police. Thank you very much for your time this evening.